Okay, so you're interested in how online stuff is impacting national security these days. Well, today's deep dive is all about the Discord leaks, a situation that's really gotten everyone talking. We're going to try to understand how top secret military documents ended up exposed, not through some, spy operation, but through Discord.
Yeah, Discord, the platform that a lot of people associate with gamers,
Exactly.
it really highlights, I think, how the lines between online activity and what's going on in the real world, those lines are getting blurrier and blurrier, especially when it comes to matters of national security.
Yeah, and at the center of all this
Yeah.
is Jack Teixeira, a 21-year-old member of the Air National Guard. He's the one who allegedly leaked these documents.
What I think makes this case so fascinating is just the apparent contradiction in Teixeira's life.
Yeah.
He was entrusted with very sensitive military information, but at the same time, he was engaging in online communities that, espoused extremist ideologies. So it's like a real-life example of a double life, but with incredibly high stakes.
And the leak originated on a Discord server with a kind of unsettling name, Thug Shaker Central. Teixeira allegedly began sharing these classified documents with the members of this group.
And it's not like we're talking about minor leaks here. These documents contained extremely sensitive, top-secret information about the war in Ukraine, insights into Iran's nuclear program, even potential defense scenarios for Taiwan.
Wow.
Yeah, it's considered one of the most significant breaches of U.S. national security in history.
It's kind of surprising to think that a platform that most people associate with gaming could become a channel for such a serious security breach.
Discord has undergone a pretty significant evolution.
Yeah.
It started as a way for gamers to connect, but it's
Yeah.
really morphed into a hub for such a wide range of communities. And some of these communities, unfortunately, harbor some extremist views.
Right.
And Discord's structure, with its emphasis on private servers and relatively limited oversight, has unfortunately made it kind of an attractive space for these groups.
And this actually isn't the first time Discord has been linked to activities that spilled over into the real world with some pretty harmful consequences. Remember the Charlottesville rally? White supremacists used Discord to organize and plan that event.
Exactly. The lack of robust oversight on platforms like Discord can have serious consequences that extend beyond online chatter and pose tangible risks to national security.
Yeah, it's kind of unsettling to think that there were warning signs about Teixeira.
Yeah.
It's not as if this behavior came out of nowhere.
Right.
There's evidence of disturbing online comments, including, racist and anti-Semitic remarks. And there was an incident during his high school years where he was investigated for making threats against black people and referencing a Molotov cocktail.
And that raises a crucial question about the military's vetting process.
Yeah.
This process is meant to thoroughly assess an individual's suitability for a position, especially one that involves access to classified information. So how did these red flags go unnoticed?
Yeah, it seems like a pretty serious lapse in judgment. Like they should have thoroughly scrutinized his background, his online activity. Those warning signs were there, but weren't properly addressed.
And what's even more perplexing is that Teixeira held a relatively low-ranking position within the military. So why did he have access to such a vast amount of classified data? This points to a potential vulnerability within the military's internal security protocols.
Yeah, it's almost like they left the door wide open, granting him access to information far beyond what his position should have allowed.
To really grasp the gravity of this situation, we have to understand the fallout from these leaks.
Right.
These documents revealed sensitive details, particularly concerning the war in Ukraine and their air defenses.
This wasn't just theoretical information. These leaks exposed real vulnerabilities in Ukraine's ability to defend itself against Russian airstrikes.
Right.
I can only imagine the level of concern this caused within the Ukrainian government.
Absolutely, and this is where the true impact of online actions on the real world becomes undeniably clear. We're talking about potential effects on the battlefield, the safety of troops, the overall trajectory of the war.
Yeah, and it's also worth noting the chilling effect these leaks have had on intelligence sharing between the U.S. and its allies. It's understandable that they would be hesitant to share sensitive information after such a breach of trust.
Yeah, trust is the bedrock of those relationships, and these leaks have definitely eroded that trust. Repairing those relationships will take time and a lot of effort.
Yeah. The leaked documents also contained intelligence related to Iran's nuclear program, which, as you can imagine, is a particularly sensitive area.
The leaks divulge details about the progress of Iran's nuclear capabilities, as well as potential strategies the U.S. was considering in response. It's almost as if they handed over their playbook to a rival, giving them valuable insights into their thinking, plans, and weaknesses.
It's unsettling to think how this could impact the U.S.'s strategic position and potentially complicate negotiations with Iran or efforts to prevent the development of nuclear weapons.
And the impact extends beyond Ukraine and Iran. The leaked documents also shed light on a potential flashpoint in the Asia-Pacific region, Taiwan. The documents included assessments of Taiwan's defenses against a possible Chinese invasion.
And this is an incredibly tense situation given China's stance on Taiwan and the U.S.'s commitment to supporting Taiwan's defense. These leaks essentially exposed potential weaknesses in Taiwan's ability to resist a Chinese attack, which is incredibly dangerous information to be made public.
It's a geopolitical tinderbox, and these leaks have the potential to escalate tensions and increase the risk of conflict. This is why these leaks are so concerning. They don't just expose secrets, they have the potential to destabilize entire regions and put lives at risk.
So it's clear that the ramifications of these leaks are extensive. The question is, how do we prevent something like this from happening again? What needs to change?
Well, there are several key areas that require attention. First and foremost, the vetting process for individuals with access to classified information needs to be strengthened. We need to move beyond just basic background checks and delve deeper, scrutinizing online behavior and looking for signs of extremism or potential red flags.
It seems there are missed opportunities to identify the warning signs in Teixeira's case. What specific steps could be taken to improve the vetting process?
The vetting process needs to be more comprehensive and incorporate a more sophisticated analysis of online behavior. So this involves not just checking for criminal records, but also evaluating the individual's online footprint for indicators of extremist ideologies, hate speech, or other concerning behaviors.
So it's about going beyond the surface and really understanding an individual's online persona and the potential risks associated with it.
Exactly. We need to develop tools and strategies to assess online behavior effectively, recognizing that what people do and say online can be a strong indicator of their real-world beliefs and actions.
And it's also critical to address the role of online platforms like Discord in this situation. Their structure with private servers and often limited moderation can create echo chambers where extremist ideologies thrive and sensitive information can be shared without adequate oversight.
This raises the question of how to strike a balance between freedom of expression and the need to prevent the spread of harmful content, including leaks that could jeopardize national security. It's a complex issue.
It's tough, right?
Yeah.
We don't want to stifle free speech, but we also can't ignore the potential dangers these platforms can present, especially in a world where the lines between online and offline are becoming increasingly blurred.
Exactly. It's a delicate balance, and there's no easy solution. However, it's a conversation we need to have. We need to explore ways to hold these platforms accountable without infringing on fundamental rights, perhaps by encouraging more robust moderation policies and promoting greater transparency in how they handle sensitive content.
So we've identified two crucial areas for improvement: a more robust vetting process that incorporates online behavior analysis, and a reevaluation of how we approach online platforms and their responsibility in preventing the spread of harmful content. It's a lot to unpack, and we're just scratching the surface.
Yeah, we are. But before we delve further into potential solutions and the long-term implications of this case, let's take a moment to reflect on the magnitude of this event. This isn't just about one individual or one platform. The Discord leaks represent a significant shift in how we think about national security in a digital age.
It's a wake-up call, forcing us to confront the realities of a world where information travels at lightning speed and the boundaries between the digital and physical realms are increasingly porous.
Exactly. And it highlights the urgent need to adapt our security protocols, our understanding of threats, and our approach to online platforms to effectively address the challenges of this new landscape.
This leads us to the next phase of our deep dive, where we'll explore the long-term implications of this case and delve into potential solutions. We'll be back after a short break.
See you then. So we've established that the Discord leaks have revealed some pretty unsettling vulnerabilities in our national security apparatus. Now let's kind of dig into the long-term implications of this breach.
It feels like we've entered like a new era of espionage, one where traditional spycraft has been replaced by, the digital dissemination of information.
Exactly. The battleground has shifted to the digital realm. Protecting national security is no longer solely about safeguarding physical borders and, those classified documents. It's about protecting data, networks, and information systems from these increasingly sophisticated threats.
Yeah, it feels like we're always kind of a step behind, constantly trying to adjust our security measures to keep pace with this rapidly changing digital landscape.
The Discord leaks really underscore how urgent it is that we adapt our security protocols to the digital age. We need more advanced tools and strategies to identify and mitigate these evolving threats.
Yeah, the sheer volume of online activity and data being shared every second is just staggering. How can we even begin to monitor all of that effectively? It seems like an insurmountable task.
It's definitely a daunting challenge, but not an impossible one. Artificial intelligence and machine learning are being used more and more in cybersecurity. These technologies can analyze vast amounts of data, identify patterns, and detect anomalies that might signal a security breach.
So it's like having a digital detective constantly on patrol, looking for suspicious activity.
In a way, yeah, but technology alone isn't enough. We also need skilled human analysts who can, interpret the data, understand the nuances of online behavior, and make judgments about how to respond to potential threats.
So it sounds like a critical partnership between humans and machines is what we need, each contributing their unique strengths to bolster cybersecurity.
Exactly. Human judgment and critical thinking are still essential. Algorithms can't replace the intuition and nuanced understanding that a trained analyst brings to the table.
This case also raises some serious questions about the balance between security and privacy in this new digital landscape. Like, if we increase surveillance of online activity, where do we draw the line? How do we safeguard individual liberties?
That's a crucial question, and there are no easy answers. Finding the right balance between security and freedom is an ongoing challenge. We have to protect national security without, encroaching upon fundamental rights and freedoms.
Yeah, it's constant negotiation between the need for security
Hmm.
and preserving individual liberty. So how do we find that sweet spot where we can feel safe and protected without sacrificing our freedoms?
This is a conversation we need to have as a society. What level of surveillance are we willing to accept in the name of security? What safeguards need to be in place to prevent abuse of power? These are fundamental questions that we can't afford to ignore.
The Discord leaks really drive home the reality of our interconnected world. What happens online doesn't stay confined to the digital realm. Actions taken online can have very real consequences in the physical world.
Absolutely. The lines between the physical and digital are blurring, and this interconnectedness is only going to intensify.
So what does all this mean for the average person who may not be dealing with classified military documents, but who is living a significant portion of their life online?
It highlights the importance of digital literacy. We need to be aware of the risks inherent in operating online, understand how to protect ourselves, and practice responsible online behavior. In a sense, we all have a role to play in cybersecurity.
It's like being a responsible citizen in the digital world.
Right.
We need to understand the rules of the road and practice safe online habits.
Exactly. This includes using strong passwords, being cautious about the information we share online, and being vigilant against phishing scams and other online threats.
And it also involves thinking critically about the information we encounter online. We can't afford to blindly accept everything we read or see at face value.
We live in an age of rampant misinformation and disinformation. It's more important than ever to be discerning consumers of information, to verify sources, and to critically evaluate the information we encounter online. We all need to develop that internal BS detector you mentioned.
All right. The Discord leaks have revealed vulnerabilities in our national security and forced us to grapple with complex questions about the role of technology in our lives. It's a lot to process.
It is. It's a wake-up call, a sign that we need to rethink our approach to national security in the digital age.
So where do we go from here? What are some concrete steps we can take to address these challenges and mitigate the risks in the future?
Well, one crucial step is strengthening the military's vetting process.
Right, and we talked earlier about the need for more thorough background checks and incorporating online behavior analysis. Are there any other measures that could be implemented to improve this process?
Absolutely. The military could consider implementing a tiered system of security clearances, granting access to sensitive information on a need-to-know basis. This means individuals would only have access to the specific data required for their roles, limiting the potential damage in case of a breach.
That makes sense. Compartmentalizing information in this way could significantly reduce the risk of widespread leaks. What about the role of technology in this process? Can technology be used to improve the effectiveness of vetting procedures?
For sure. Artificial intelligence and machine learning could be used to flag potentially concerning online behavior patterns, providing human analysts with valuable insights and helping to prioritize cases that require further scrutiny.
So it's not about replacing human judgment, but rather about using technology to enhance and streamline the process, making it more efficient and effective.
Precisely. It's about leveraging technology to do the heavy lifting, allowing human analysts to focus on the more nuanced aspects of assessment and decision making.
Okay, so we've discussed the need for stronger vetting procedures within the military. But what about the role of online platforms like Discord? What steps can be taken to address the challenges they present?
We need to find ways to encourage these platforms to take a more proactive approach to content moderation.
And earlier we talked about that delicate balance between freedom of expression and preventing the spread of harmful content.
Mhm.
How do we encourage these platforms to take more responsibility without infringing upon free speech rights?
It's a complex issue, but one potential approach is to work collaboratively with these platforms to develop industry standards for content moderation. These standards could outline clear guidelines for identifying and removing content that poses a risk to national security, such as the sharing of classified information.
So it's not about imposing top-down regulations, but rather about fostering a sense of shared responsibility and working together to find solutions that protect both national security and freedom of expression.
Exactly. It's about finding that middle ground where we can effectively address the risks without stifling the free flow of information and ideas, which is so crucial to a healthy democracy.
It sounds like addressing these challenges requires a multifaceted approach involving government agencies, tech companies, and even individual users. We all have a part to play in shaping a more secure digital landscape.
Absolutely. It's a collective effort. The Discord leaks have highlighted the need for greater awareness, collaboration, and a willingness to adapt to the evolving nature of national security threats in the digital age. This is a conversation that needs to continue, and it's a responsibility we all share.
It's clear that the Discord leaks are more than just a security breach. They represent a turning point, forcing us to confront the realities of a world where the digital and physical realms are inextricably intertwined.
It's a wake-up call, urging us to reevaluate our assumptions, our strategies, and our understanding of what it takes to protect national security in an increasingly interconnected and digital world.
And with that, we come to the end of our deep dive into the Discord leaks. We've explored the specifics of the case, the immediate fallout, the long-term implications, and potential solutions.
This deep dive has hopefully shed light on the complexities of this issue and giving you a deeper understanding of the challenges and opportunities we face in navigating the evolving landscape of national security in the digital age.
We encourage you to continue this exploration, to delve deeper into the topics we've discussed, and to form your own conclusions. This is a conversation that needs to continue, and your voice, your insights are valuable.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and stay engaged.
Okay, so we've talked about bolstering the vetting process and encouraging online platforms to be more proactive, but what about the bigger picture? What lasting impact will the Discord leaks have on how we approach national security, especially in the digital age?
This whole event has really exposed a fundamental truth, I think. Our national security apparatus, which is built mostly on a foundation of physical boundaries and tangible assets, is struggling to keep up with the rapid changes in the digital world.
It's like we're trying to, fit a square peg into a round hole, trying to apply these old, outdated methods to this landscape that's constantly shifting and changing.
Yeah, exactly. The traditional lines of defense are becoming more and more porous in the digital age. Information just flows freely across borders now, making it much harder to control and protect. We need to rethink our approach and move away from these reactive measures and move towards a more proactive and anticipatory stance.
So if we're talking about a more proactive and anticipatory approach to national security,
Mhm.
what would that actually look like in this digital landscape?
Well, it requires a fundamental shift in mindset, I think. We need to move beyond just reacting to breaches and start anticipating them. So this means investing in robust threat intelligence gathering, developing sophisticated predictive models, and fostering a culture of constant vigilance.
So it sounds like we need to be playing chess, not checkers, thinking several moves ahead of our adversaries.
Right, exactly. We need to be constantly assessing the evolving threat landscape, identifying potential vulnerabilities, and developing strategies to mitigate those risks before they can be exploited.
This also suggests that we need much greater collaboration, not just within government agencies, but also with the private sector and even international partners.
Oh, absolutely. Cybersecurity threats don't care about national borders. Addressing these challenges effectively requires a coordinated global effort. We need to share information, pool resources, and develop common standards and protocols.
Yeah, it's like the old adage, united we stand, divided we fall. We're stronger together, especially when we're facing these complex and interconnected threats.
Right.
The Discord leaks have also kind of forced us to confront a really fundamental question. How do we balance the need for security with the preservation of individual rights and freedoms in this increasingly digital world?
That's a question that's been around, I think, since the very beginning of the internet. But it feels much more urgent now with how pervasive technology is in our lives, and you know how increasingly sophisticated those surveillance tools are getting.
Yeah.
This balance will always be a point of tension, and there are no easy answers. But it's a conversation we need to keep having, engaging with diverse perspectives and looking for solutions that respect both security needs and individual liberties.
So this brings us back to the role of the individual in all of this. We've talked about the responsibilities of governments and tech companies, but what about the everyday citizen? What role can we play in shaping a more secure digital future?
The Discord leaks really highlight how important digital literacy is. We need to be more careful and discerning consumers of information. We need to understand how to verify sources and identify misinformation. We need to be aware of the risks associated with being online and adopt safe online practices. In a sense, we all have a responsibility to be good digital citizens.
It's like being a responsible driver on the information superhighway.
Exactly.
We need to know the rules of the road, practice safe driving habits, and be aware of the potential hazards.
Exactly. We all have a part to play in creating a safer and more secure digital environment.
So to kind of sum this all up, it seems like the Discord leaks, while obviously a serious security breach, also kind of give us an opportunity to learn, to adapt, and to build a more resilient and secure digital future.
It's a chance to rethink some of our assumptions, to challenge those outdated paradigms, and to embrace a more collaborative and proactive approach to national security in the digital age.
It's also a reminder that we're all in this together. Governments, tech companies, and individuals all have a role to play in shaping this digital future. It's a shared responsibility, a collective effort that requires open dialogue, critical thinking, and a willingness to adapt.
So we encourage you to continue this conversation, to dig a little deeper into the issues we've explored, and to use your voice and your actions to contribute to a safer and more secure digital world.
Thanks for joining us today on this deep dive. We hope you found it informative and thought-provoking. Stay curious, stay engaged, and stay safe online.